Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about what to expect from LCS teams in the 2019 or the 2020 offseason. So these aren't based on leaks or rumors, but more so looking at the context of the situation for every single LCS team and kind of their history on what kind of changes they have made and what is their identity. I think it will actually give you a really good idea on kind of the changes that these teams will make, because ownership and coaching staff within the team is usually the one thing that stays consistent, and they have the most control over the roster. So yeah, just think about what these teams have done in the past and you'll get to know what they do in the future. Let's start with NA's finest, Team Liquid. I think what Team Liquid will do is upgrade their roster with strong imports and veteran. Every year, TL looks at their roster and they make a big signing on a very hyped, very experienced veteran. In 2017, they picked up Reignover. In 2018, they picked up Doublelift, Impact. In 2019, they picked up CoreJJ, Jensen. They will upgrade every year and they will spend the money. I think TL's business model revolves around them being the best. They spend in other games too, such as CSGO, to have the best team possible and be a champion. So yeah, that's their identity that they have consistently shown across multiple games, and I think that's what they'll be doing. As for who is staying, I'm going to go with Doublelift plus CoreJJ. I think both are very comfortable in the offseason. Doublelift making a vlog on going to Universal. CoreJJ is making a support guide that is very TL brand heavy. And they also had decent performances regionally and internationally, and they also played a key role on the team. So yeah, I think we'll see Doublelift and CoreJJ staying in TL for next year. As for who is leaving, I think we can come to the conclusion Xmithy is leaving. There's various rumors about junglers joining Team Liquid, such as Broxah. He's someone that's probably the most likely. Tarzan, Thieves shooting for the stars. I'm pretty sure you heard this story before, but when I was on Team Liquid and we needed a new mid laner, Steve told me to go talk to SKT and see if he can buy out Faker. Steve is the kind of guy that will have a crazy dream and make it work. So a lot of times it sounds crazy, but sometimes it does work. So yeah, Tarzan I think is an example of that. Steve having this crazy dream of being able to pick up one of the best junglers in the world and trying to make it happen. Inspired, he's also another potential young jungler. He's the jungler for Rogue and he had a pretty decent 2019. So yeah, I think that's the big changes we're going to see. I'm not too sure about Impact and Jensen. If I had to make a bet on it, I'd imagine they both stay. Even with Jensen's kind of bad performance, I can't really imagine TL getting a big upgrade over Jensen. Jensen's a pretty decent mid laner, and mid laners are very rare and very expensive. So yeah, that's kind of my read on TL from their past history and also what they've been doing in other games. Let's move on to my favorite team ever, TSM. I think they are going to build around the core that they can trust in and find young talents that they can develop. So that's kind of been the history of TSM. Even though they've been like a uber dominant team in the past, like TSM isn't really known for their big expensive signings. Andy has made it clear even when they signed Zben and Mitty and Yellowstar in the past, he didn't have to pay that much for them. They joined because of the brand of TSM and they wanted to win. For their jungle position, they have consistently picked up young talent, be it successful, be it unsuccessful. TSM just hasn't been a team to spend a lot outside of Bjergsen. So who is staying? I mean, Bjergsen for sure, that was already announced. And also Smoothie, I think is very likely. I think Smoothie was a bright spot for TSM. And from personally working with Smoothie, he's very bright. He's very positive. He's always hardworking. His life is League of Legends, gym, sleep. So I just don't expect them to kick Smoothie. I just don't see a reason for them also. He's a young NA player that contributes in shot calling, and that's a positive part of the team. So a big question mark for them is Broken Blade. I think he had a great spring, but a stagnant summer, and a lot of imports will fall into this trap where you have a really good first split and you never play to that level again, and you kind of get hit by the skill vampires from North America. You just get too comfortable in North America, and you also really can't improve using solo queue, which is a big thing for European and Korean players. So they really just become bad. I mean, examples of this would be someone like Arrow, who won MVP in his first split and never looked the same. Febibin looked really good on Clutch the first split and also never looked the same. Rush, he won MVP and then he also never looked the same. Lyra, same thing. Lyra kind of had a resurgence this year, especially in summer and at Worlds, but he was an MVP candidate on his first split in MV and he also never looked the same. So yeah, that's kind of the current situation Broken Blade is in, I can easily see TSM keeping him, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they let go of Broken Blade and invested into a different young talent. TSM really needs to figure out what they do want to do for jungle, and if they spend a lot of money for any position, I think it should be for jungle. Now that Bjergsen is a part owner, he has more weight in the team than ever. I would even say he has more weight than Doublelift does on Team Liquid. And it's really going to be hard for a rookie jungler to come in and find his own footing on the team and find his own voice. So I really hope TSM can find their own Clid. Clid came into SKT, and in one of his first interviews, he talked about how he hopes Faker can adapt to playing with him and not the other way around. And he ended up being the best player on the team. TSM needs their own Clid, and I really hope they can find it. This rotating door for junglers just really hasn't been working, and every year they replace their jungler, that's a year they're not building synergy between mid and jungle, which is so important. They're just resetting every year, and I really hate that part about it. I don't think we're going to see Acadian, TSM and Acadian, that relationship is just destroyed. I don't think we're going to see Grick, he never really performed well on stage. And Spica, while I do think he has potential, he's just too green to play on LCS stage just yet. As for who's going to be leaving, I think Zben's going to be leaving. It doesn't make sense for Zben to stay. He seems pretty miserable in North America, and he didn't get the results he wanted by coming here. And I also don't think it makes sense for TSM to keep him. There seems to be like a playstyle clash between Zben and Smoothie, and I think Smoothie's likely to stay. And he's also a big name player that's taking up an import slot. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Zben leaves, and I'm pretty sure TSM will keep Bjerg and Smoothie. As for C9, man, this is a team. I mean, I got into a lot of arguments. I love C9. I really do think C9 is a very smart team and a very successful team, but a lot of C9 fans don't like hearing what I have to say about them. Yeah, let's talk about what they're going to do. I think they will sell either Blabber or Svenskeren. They'll pick up a high potential, low price player and continue developing them. So C9 has consistently sold players at peak value. Impact, Jensen, Smoothie. Actually, they didn't sell Impact. If I remember correctly, his contract ended that year. So Jensen, Smoothie, I mean, C9 fans and the Kool-Aid drinkers can deny it however much they want. And they can tell me about the context of every situation, and they just wanted to leave and Jack wanted to find a good home for them. But if you don't believe me, let's look beyond just League of Legends. Look at Overwatch. C9 had one of the best teams, and they won a championship in the Overwatch League. And this year, they're letting go of Profit and Gesture, top tier players within the team. Like, they're getting transferred to Seoul Dynasty, and C9 isn't doubling down and building another championship roster. They're actually going a budget route in Overwatch. In CSGO also, Stewie and Tarek, some of the best players they had, like, they won a major. Like, this is the first time North American team was ever, like, absolute top tier in CSGO, and they let go of these players too. They got transferred to another team after bringing a trophy to North America. This isn't to say Jack is a bad owner. It's actually the contrary. I think C9 is one of the few teams that can maintain being competitive in multiple games without overspending, and they actually know how to develop players. But yeah, I don't think C9's number one goal is to win LCS. Like, C9 just has a really good read on esports as a whole, and they're making smart decisions. And smart decisions doesn't mean overspending for players, especially when there's a team like Team Liquid who has a giga stack roster. So who is going to be staying for C9? I think it's going to be Licorice, Zazel, and Deathly. These three are young players that are not on massive contracts. They're on very team-friendly contracts. I think C9 will continue their development. And also as a bonus, all three used to be on United, so there's a little bit of a bonus, brotherhood, friends, family, like little like cute grouping there. So who's going to be leaving? Who's going to be leaving? It's going to be Blabber or Svenskeren. I think it's more likely that Blabber stays and Svenskeren is getting sold, but I can see it being the other way around possibly. But yeah, with the rumors we heard, it's going to be Svenskeren. If he didn't hear the rumors, I actually wouldn't have been that surprised to hear Blabber leaving and Svenskeren staying, because Sven is an amazing player and he is very grateful to C9 for picking him up after the whole TSM situation. So yeah, there was a lot of loyalty there, but it seems like Svenskeren is going to be sold. What about Sneaky? This is the really hard one. I can't see Sneaky playing under a different banner. Sneaky and C9 and Sneaky and Jack is the longest tenure currently in the LCS. There is no other player that's been on a team longer than Sneaky has at the moment, and he also has a lot of other things that he could do. He could easily be a streamer, he could easily be an influencer. He has such a popular stream, and we know all about Sneaky's cosplays. Also, the weird thing is, people criticize his performance a lot this year. Yes, it wasn't the best, but it also wasn't dog shit. It's a really big question mark for me. And this is the one I just don't have a clear answer to. I can't lean one way or the other. And C9's also not a team that's like, we need best player possible in every position. Like C9, Sneaky, C9, Reaper, Jack, like they're all very comfortable with each other. So yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen. CLG. So CLG. What is your identity? I think CLG invested very heavily into coaching staff, and they kind of want to be like a very smart team, a very player development team. They have Weldon, he's a head coach with good track record from both G2 and TSM, and there's that Weldon special sauce, or snake oil, depending on if you're a fan of Weldon or if you're an anti-fan. And there's also Irene, he's a strategic coach with a good track record from Turkey, and he has previous coaching record and also player experience. In Summer, I used to work with her back on Goldcoin United and a little bit on TL. She's a player development coach with experience in esports and training outside of esports. And there's also Tofo. He used to be the coach for Mango, a Smash player. He's a data scientist from Smash, who was also able to transition into a League of Legends role and help CLG. Yeah, and CLG also has a huge facility that they invested into with franchising. So CLG is a team that likes to believe in the system more so than superstar players. They have consistently let go of top tier talent, and they stay away from paying big money for imports outside of Power Beeble, which is like a really important signing for them because mid lane they needed a really big solution for after the whole Huhi situation. So yeah, outside of that, I just can't think of a time where CLG paid big for an import. Infamously, they could have gotten flamed this year, but they didn't because they couldn't agree on numbers. So players that have left CLG, I mean, Double Lift Afro, Pobelter, Xmithy. Pobelter, Xmithy weren't huge names, but Double Lift Afro, definitely so. Alright, so what do I think CLG will do? They're going to build around the 3 young core of NA players they have and see if there are better imports to get. CLG has a great 3-man core in Stixay, Wiggly, Biofrost that are on long contracts. I personally don't think Ruin was that great for them, and Power Beeble, while decent, is on a pretty high paying contract, and his contract ends this year, so they could switch things up. I hope CLG can keep all 5 members, and maybe they can build synergy going into next split, but I could also see they replace both imports with like different similar level players that are at like mid-tier pay grade level. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything too exciting from CLG. I don't think we're going to see a big shakeup. I also don't think we're going to see massive signings. Let's go to 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves is an org that's been achieving so much success in everything but League of Legends. They have a very strong brand with a loyal following that they managed to build in the last 2 years extremely quickly, off of Nadeshot, off of Call of Duty, off of great merch. They also have gotten significant investment just like every other VC funded org. This year was disastrous for them, and they're starting fresh with Papa Smithy leading the League of Legends department. I actually have no idea what we can expect. They have a lot of strong pieces, but none of them fit quite well together. Bang, Astro, something, these are all potential franchise players, but they couldn't find a way to make it work. I think it comes from the lack of a strong mid laner. They Bandit aided a lot of their problems with rookie players like Soligo and Fake God, but overall the year didn't quite pan out how they wanted to. I think they need to find the strong import mid to build around, and after that, let's see what pieces work well with the new mid and go from there. This is a team where I have no idea who's going to stay, and I wouldn't be surprised to see 5 new faces, but also getting rid of players like Aframu, Someday, and Banks seems very counterintuitive. Now, EG and IMT, the 2 new big faces entering into League of Legends, or re-entering, whatever you want to call it. First impressions are very, very important, and while both these teams have been in the league before, to majority of the fans, they will be new faces. I fully expect both teams to pay out for their first year back into LCS. If we're going to see new big imports, it's going to be from EG and IMT. You kind of have to pay a premium to like start a team really strong, and the other teams don't really have a reason to, but EG and IMT definitely do. I think they'll both likely start their offseason by making big splash signings and fill out rest of their roster with top to mid-tier players. So yeah, they'll get someone huge from like Korea or Europe, and after that, they'll fill out rest of their roster with good players. I fully expect them to spend a lot. Outside of maybe Team Liquid, I think these 2 teams are going to be the ones that spend the most. So yeah, that's my kind of overview on what we can expect from all the LCS teams. I didn't do Golden Guardians and FlyQuest because I actually don't know what to expect from them, and I don't think they have really strong identity, so it's kind of hard to guess. And they don't really have very obvious moves that they can make. Maybe Golden Guardians needs to make a change in jungle. Maybe FlyQuest needs a new mid, but beyond that, I just didn't want to go that much in detail for these teams. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll talk to all you guys later. I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Bye!